Dario again, dun dun. I can't wait to get Dario again, dun dun. The life I love is making podcasts with my friends. Oh, I can't wait to get Dario again. Alright, and we're back, and I'm actually in a pretty good mood. I'm in a pretty good mood. I just watched the new Bill Burr film, the one on Netflix, Old Dads, and it's actually really funny. I really enjoyed it, so let's break it down. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Alright, so like I said, I'm in a pretty good mood. Over the weekend, I went to Halloween Horror Nights up in Hollywood, which was great. Had a great time. They do a lot of really interesting stuff out there. There was too many people, but I think we got lucky. We went into pretty much every single ride. Well, except for the big ones. We missed Chucky and we missed The Exorcist, but I think we hit everything else. So here's a quick tip if you're going up to Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios. Don't do 3 hours of line for Stranger Things 4. It's just not worth it. The Last of Us was cool, but Stranger Things 4 definitely not worth it. We didn't do 3 hours of lines. We did half an hour because we waited until the end, until all the losers went through. And same for The Last of Us. We pretty much just went in. It didn't even take all the way to the front. So if you wait enough, once all the old people get tired or all the kids get tired and they want to go home, it'll be better. But yeah, Stranger Things. Honestly, if I did 3 hours a line, because the app tells you how long the line is, if I did 3 hours a line and just to do Stranger Things 4, and it ended up being what I saw, that I'd be not happy. I'd be quite upset. I'd be very pissed, because it's what? It opens at 7, it closes at 2 o'clock, so it means you have, maybe 7 hours? That's almost half of the time you could go. Now, if you have like a whole thing pass, whatever. Point is, don't recommend it. But let's get into the movie here, because that's what I want to talk about. But before I get into the movie, let me just give you a quick reminder. Comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at DarioSDW and at Super Dario World. Share this video, like this video. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff really helps me out. So let's get into it. Bill Burr, for those of you who don't know, is a comedian, and he released his new movie on Netflix recently. It's called Old Dads. And first off, let me just, a quick round of applause. Congratulations, Bill Burr. He directed his first film. And for a directorial debut, it was actually a pretty good job. I was impressed. I've always said comedy is very difficult, and directing a comedy film is not as easy as you would think. So, good job. There's a few things that I would criticize, where you can tell that it was directed by a newbie. They really go out of their way to show you certain reactions, particularly about his character. So you could tell, all right, he's still green, but really good job. Like I said, I was very, very impressed. The dude did his homework, and it shows. So, highly recommend it. So if you want a very quick review here, basically, spoiler-free, very quickly, the movie is about Bill Burr as a 50-year-old dad, dealing with the ridiculousness of younger dads in LA, pretty much. And it's classic Bill Burr, where he's just basically getting upset and ripping on people. So it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's silly, it's really well acted. I've been impressed at how good of an actor Bill Burr is, because I remember seeing him at first in a few things, but then seeing him in The Mandalorian when he did a really good job, and now this. He's getting better. And again, the movie had me laughing out loud several times. I don't know if it speaks to my generation. Maybe I'm an old soul, but there were certain things like being on a road trip with the guys. That's just fun and completely relatable. It's like, of course, that's the type of conversation I would have with my friends. Of course, definitely. And so it's fun. It's relatable. It makes fun of basically what it does is points stuff out that's modern and stupid, and it makes fun of it. So, and again, classic Bill Burr fashion, he gets really upset over things, and things end up being his fault in spite of him being basically right about stuff, but he just reacted in in an inappropriate way. So, highly recommend it. Very good film, very enjoyable. It's kind of not that long. It's 1:40, so it's not a bad way to spend your less than 2 hours. I recommend it. I enjoyed pretty much every minute of it. It flows really well. The theme's pretty simple. I've always said this. I'm very forgiving when it comes to comedies with logic and rules and reality and stuff like that. Because, sometimes you got to sacrifice reality for the joke. This movie handles that well enough. And the cast overall is great. You have some really hateable characters in there. Like the quote-unquote villains, the antagonists. You really hate them. You really kind of want to punch them in the face. So that means that they did a really good job. They acted really well. So again, it's kudos to Bill Burr. The music's fun. It's good. It's old school. The heartwarming moments are heartwarming. The funny moments are really funny. The jokes land. He takes stuff from his stand-up and, basically reenacts it. Like certain jokes that you'll notice. If you've seen Bill Burr stuff, you'll notice some of the jokes that he's done on his stand-up here. So, highly recommend it. Very enjoyable, very funny, very ridiculous, and it just basically doesn't give a shit. So the the beauty of the movie is that, like Bill Burr's stand-up, I mean, he wrote it, he directed, he stars in it. So it's kind of like, yeah, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna say whatever the fuck I want because fuck you, So good on him. It's not easy. It's not easy directing for your first director job to be a full feature, and I think he did a more than respectable job. As a writer, there's a few flaws. He has more experience as a writer, but again, I'm willing to accept ridiculousness for a joke, giving up some stuff for a joke, and it lands. So you got nothing to do, you got a couple hours to kill. If you're going to be stuck at the border crossing a few hours, I recommend that you download it on your phone and watch it. You'll enjoy it. It's fun. It's also kind of cathartic in a way, because you're like, yes, thank you. Yes, finally somebody says it. And it's actually pretty funny, that particular thing. So now I'm going to maybe go into a little bit of spoilers, not too much, because again, I'm not going to spoil the jokes, but just a few things that I particularly liked about the movie. So that was the spoiler-free part. Highly recommend it. Very enjoyable. One of the better comedies that I've seen recently that, again, had me actually laughing out loud. So there you go. On Netflix. Enjoy. Now with a little bit of spoilers, not so much, but it's interesting because he goes into certain topics that I've been complaining about a lot. And so in the movie, he and his buddies have their own company, but they sold it to another company, but they still, operate it, right? Under the promise that nothing's going to change and you'll still have leadership, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that, nope, actually we're just taking your brand and we're doing whatever the fuck we want with it. So it's one of those things that I'm like, dude, it's an interesting way of him, again, maybe this was accidental, maybe it was just like, fuck it, maybe it was subconscious, but it's an interesting way of him saying what I've been complaining about the entertainment industry for a really long time. You just have people wearing other intellectual properties as a skin suit. I talked about it with the Rings of Power. It's not Lord of the Rings. Not even close, not even a little bit. It's got characters with the same names, similar names, well, the same names, and then it's whatever the fuck they want. So they're just wearing Lord of the Rings as a skin suit. Halo, it's just this TV show, it's just wearing Halo as a skin suit. I haven't seen the new Castlevania yet, but from what I've seen, it's not Castlevania. It's just wearing Castlevania as a skin suit. So it's a very interesting critique in the hollowing out of intellectual properties and people just taking it, not understanding what made it good, and just using it as a skin suit. So that resonated to me. And I know that Bill Burr is in the entertainment industry, so I'm pretty sure that, again, this is just a guess. I've never spoken to Bill, but I think there's a little bit of projection there, which again, it's totally fair, and I'm just mentioning it because I feel justified, because that's what I've been talking about for a really long time. I've been complaining about that incessantly. The worst generation of writers that we've had ever, and they just take the things that we love and howl them out and do whatever the fuck they want with them, and they just ruin them. So that's one thing. That thing really popped out, and it's just there's a line in the movie that he's saying, I'm just saying what you're all thinking. You're just afraid of getting in trouble. Which, honestly, it's one of those things that resonated with me a lot, because it's something that I hear a lot from people. So, as you guys know, I've been doing this for a long time, podcasting, and I used to do it. I did radio for a really long time, and that's one of the things that I heard about people the most, that they liked about me the most. It's like, dude, you just said it. Like, I can't believe you just said it, but I 100% agree. And it's like, yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of, you know what? It's the truth. So I'm just going to tell the truth. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, but it's how I feel. It's the truth. It's the reality about how I feel, the way I see things. If I'm wrong, explain it. That's it. And so it's funny that resonated with me a lot. So there's a few key things there where he just points out the ridiculousness of certain stands and of the stances certain people have. And it's just great because it feels cathartic. Because, again, for people in my generation, I'm a millennial, but I feel like I'm old. I'm an old soul. It's just like, why are we putting up with this crap? Just say it. Just say it. Or just ignore, or just laugh. Honestly, just point out how stupid it is, and everything will be fine. Don't be so afraid of getting in trouble. It's not a bad thing. It's actually kind of a good thing sometimes to get in trouble. It makes you stronger, it makes you tougher. So that made certain jokes, particularly for me, it made certain jokes land even a little bit more, because they're putting the villains are quote unquote normal people who believe stupid things, and he's pointing out the stupidity of their certain points of view, and it's cathartic. So not only is it funny just because they're well-crafted jokes, extremely well acted, very well delivered, but it's also got that extra catharsis. So maybe that's why I enjoyed the movie so much. But overall, it's I'm trying to pinpoint what definitely my favorite thing probably was the road trip. You know, because again, I recently did that, you know, being on a road trip with the boys and talking about stupidity, and you have, 4 or 5, 8 hours to fill, and you start just talking about random nonsense that's great, that's stupid. So that was probably, to me, my favorite thing. Again, over the summer, I did that with my buddies. We did an 8-hour road trip. Again, 8 hours one way, 8 hours back. It was a fishing trip, and we just talked stupidity for 16 hours, and then again on the fishing boat and stuff. So that I really related to that. That's why I enjoyed it. But there's other stuff that's actually pretty good. Again, several times I just laughed out loud. There's certain lines that I just did not see coming, and they're super silly and dumb, but I'm like, I'm gonna use that in my normal life. I'm gonna use that. There's an excuse that the character, I think his name is Mike, that he uses to escape a conversation with his with his girlfriend, that I'm like, I'm gonna use that in real life. That's that excuse is just phenomenal, and I don't know if it was improv or not, but it was it landed really well. So again, I was not gonna go into spoilers. I just wanted to mention those few things. So there you go. Keeping this one short, because again, I am technically driving, but there you go. Overall, what score would I give it? I think it might be close to a 9, honestly. I don't know if it's, again, I'm a fan of Bill Burr. I think I might be in the target audience for this one particularly. It came out, I think, at the right time, but I mean, I wish he would have gone a little bit further with it, just, you know, push it a little bit more. But it is Netflix, so I mean, I'm surprised that he pushed it as far as he did. So, points there. But yeah, overall, I'd say 8.5. For a comedy, I think that's solid. It's a solid 8.5 for a comedy. Could have been better, but, you know, depending on... I say 8.5 because, you know, it could go up to a 9, depending on who you are and your brand of comedy, what type of comedy you like. So for me, it landed. Most of the stuff landed for me. I really enjoyed it. So to me, it could go up to 9. To you, it could go up to 8. But overall, solid flick, really enjoyable. Again, great acting, the great soundtrack, all that stuff. The story's simple enough that you can follow. Characters are likable. Antagonists are hateable. So there you go. That's it. I think that's a good place to stop. So again, like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. It really helps me out. As always, comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario SDW and at Super Dario World. Thank you as always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.